everyone. Ice Hearts Part 8 is here. And there was only one bed. Did I actually use that in my story? Yes, I did. Do I feel shame? No. Let's go. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You are keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much, and I hope you'll enjoy. Kyotani wasn't sure what exactly to do while they walked to his car. Part of his mind was telling him to try to comfort KyouHaba with a hug or something of that nature, but the other part practically screamed at him not to do that, since KyouHaba just got touched against his will, and more touch could make everything worse. So he just awkwardly stuck his hands into his pockets, but kept close to KyouHaba's side, hoping his presence served at least as a silent support. Now that he met who he supposed was KyouHaba's ex, he finally fully understood the cues about hockey players. And he wasn't surprised. He met the guy a few years ago in a match, and even back then, it only took him one shift change to realize he was a piece of shit. Apparently on and off ice alike. No wonder KyouHaba's friends wanted to protect him from another hockey player who might act the same way to him. He growled under his breath, a sudden urge to go after the guy and tear him to shreds taking over his mind for a hot second. How even dare you, you fucker? But KyouHaba needed him close more than revenge. At least he thought so. The man was quiet the whole walk, staring into the ground and only raising his gaze when they arrived to the car to sit down without colliding with the door. How far from here do you live? KyouHaba blinked and looked around slightly confused, as if he had to remind himself where he was. About 20 minutes. You don't have to drive me the whole way if that's too much of a bother. I can get home by train like always. Oh no, that's not the problem. I don't have anywhere to be anyway. I was just thinking, does he know where you live? He didn't miss the way KyouHaba shivered and cursed inwardly. I don't know. He might. I didn't tell him we trained here and he might have found out where I live too. Then, do you think it's a good idea to go there? KyouHaba curled more into himself, clutching onto the safety belt. I have nowhere else to go. All the others are out of the city for the rest of the week because of the play break. He clenched his jaw. It will be fine. I can manage. Kyotani wasn't sure who was KyouHaba trying to convince more, but it sure as hell wasn't working. And if he was honest, he didn't like leaving KyouHaba alone either. No matter whether his asshole of an ex knew where he lived, KyouHaba was clearly distressed, and Kyotani was worried he might hurt himself considering he always tugged on his hair when he was nervous. You can stay with me. Only if you want to, of course. I don't want you to think I'm using the situation to do anything. I'm just worried. I don't want him to hurt you again. He risked a glance at KyouHaba, wondering if he just crossed all boundaries. KyouHaba was watching him with wide eyes and slightly parted lips, which definitely shouldn't be so damn attractive, especially given the situation. You wouldn't mind? Kyotani shrugged as if his heart didn't just do a somersault in his chest. I think I would actually be more at peace than if I left you alone in this state. It's not a big flat, but I'm sure we can fit in without much issue. And before you ask, no, you won't be a bother. KyouHaba averted his gaze for a moment before he gave Kyotani a small, grateful smile. Alright then. Thank you. They arrived in Kyotani's flat about half an hour later. KyouHaba was still much quieter than usual during the ride, but at least he didn't seem like he was about to shut down any moment. On the contrary, he looked genuinely curious when he walked through the door of Kyotane's apartment, his eyes darting over the living room area. Kyotane cringed a bit at the mess he left this morning when he rushed to the practice, but KyouHaba didn't seem to mind much, a soft smile tucking in the corner of his mouth when he spotted the photos on the shelf by the TV. He motioned to the one with little Kyotane and an older man with hockey sticks in hands on a frozen pond. You're dead? Yeah. It's from the day he took me to play for the first time with some of his friends. He smiled, remembering how happy he was when he scored his first goal. I guess even he didn't expect I would get into it this much. KyouHaba's face softened as he bowed his head slightly in front of the photo. He had to be really proud of you. I bet he's still cheering you on when you play. Perhaps. He cleared his throat, shooing away the bittersweet memories of his father. Are you hungry? I have some leftovers from yesterday, if you don't mind that. I wasn't expecting a visit, so I didn't go shopping, but it's solid. You can eat while I prepare the bed for you. KyouHaba furrowed his brow, looking at the only door leading from the living room. And where are you going to sleep? I'll take the couch. What? No way. It's your place. I can't just take your bed. It's enough of a bother for you to let me stay here. I can't kick you out of your bedroom too. KyouHaba. I'm serious. Just give me a pillow and some blanket and I'm fine. I'm not letting you sleep on the couch. I'm not letting you sleep on the couch. Kyotane sighed. Then what do you suggest? You are a guest and you are not sleeping on the couch or on the ground. My final word. Then we can share. Kyotane raised his eyebrow in surprise, and KyouHaba avoided his gaze, nervously fidgeting with his fingers. I mean, if you are okay with it. It's fine if you aren't. It's your bed and... I'm sorry, I shouldn't have just thrown it at you. It's... He stuttered and then fell silent as Kyotane held his hands, keeping the grip loose in case he was uncomfortable. He did indeed tense a bit, but didn't make any attempt to move away, not even when Kyotane pushed a stray strand of hair from his forehead and lifted his chin to make him look up. Are you sure? I don't want you to be uncomfortable just because you are stubborn about the sleeping situation. KyouHaba nodded, his cheeks coloring a light red. I trust you. I know you wouldn't take advantage of the situation. Or me. Humming, Kyotane squeezed KyouHaba's hand in reassurance while he simultaneously tried to ignore his racing heart. He wasn't sure if he was more nervous or excited, probably both the same amount. Of course, he wished the situation leading to them sharing a bed was utterly different, but as long as KyouHaba was okay with it, he was content. Alright, but promise me that if you get uncomfortable, you'll tell me, at any point. I promise. Good. Do you have anything to sleep in? KyouHaba's face reddened even more. About that... Kyotane had to admit the sight of KyouHaba wearing his oversized t-shirt did things to him. Not in a sexual way, it was just so damn adorable. He told him so too, making him blush as he tugged on the lower edge of the t-shirt. They settled in the bed after some adjusting, their faces mere centimeters apart since they shared the pillow. From as close as they were, KyouHaba's warm breath ghosted over Kyotane's skin, the sensation sending pleasant shivers down his spine. He wondered if KyouHaba knew just how beautiful he was from this close, or how much his hair shone in the moonlight coming in through the window. Though KyouHaba was much more than just a pretty face, and Kyotane's heart swelled when he fully realized how lucky he was to meet him. And thus he could understand how his ex could see all that and still leave him behind. Did he ever took his time to get to know KyouHaba under the pretty outside? Probably not, because otherwise he would have to appreciate KyouHaba much more. He gritted his teeth. Asshole. Kyotane? He snapped out of his thoughts, meeting KyouHaba's slightly widened eyes. Are you okay? You looked really pissed for a moment. Should I move? It's fine if you... Sighing, Kyotane gently caressed his cheek, silencing his next words. After a bit of hesitation, KyouHaba leaned into his hand, and Kyotane had to resist the urge to just lean in and kiss him. I'm not mad at you, and you don't have to move because of me. I like this a lot, actually. To his surprise, KyouHaba smiled and entwined their fingers together. I like it too. Kyotane could just about melt then and there, the touch of the soft skin against his rough leaving his hand tingling. A peaceful atmosphere surrounded them despite the horde of questions still swirling in his head. He really wanted some answers, but seeing KyouHaba slowly relaxing, he decided against asking any of them. It would just ruin the moment and possibly hurt KyouHaba again since he had no idea where the limits were. So instead, he cupped his cheek, caressing his slowly warming skin with his thumb as he leaned closer, their noses brushing together. Can I kiss you? Without a word, KyouHaba fluttered his eyes shut and closed the distance between them. There were no fireworks in Kyotane's chest this time, and it wasn't any heated kiss either, but just the gentle touch of KyouHaba's soft lips on his own was enough for his mind to go completely blank. They weren't going to get further than that night, he knew, but it was okay. They had all the time in the world. He suddenly tasted salt in the kiss and pulled away a bit, his heart breaking seeing KyouHaba's eyes glinting with more than just the natural light. He gently kissed away the tears from his cheeks and wrapped his arm around his waist to pull him as close as possible. KyouHaba whimpered quietly and clutched Kyotane's t-shirt, hiding his face in his chest, his body wrenching with uncontrollable sobs. I'm sorry. Kyotane shook his head and trapped soothing patterns into KyouHaba's back and sides, leaving a kiss on his forehead. It's alright. No one will hurt you anymore. I promise. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We are slowly inching towards the end. I'm still not sure how many parts there are going to be because the last chapter is long as hell and I will have to cut it somehow because I'm not going to be editing over 30 minutes of video for this. But when the whole series is finished, I will do a supercut. I'm once again stealing ideas from Hana, but yeah, I think this one deserves to have a supercut. I might do one for the Halloween stuff too, for the Semishira Kawagata, to test it out how it's going to work out. If you have any requests or ideas, the request forum is linked in the video description. See you next time.